coming at you. We don't have a huge crew today. We got Bentley Fierro with us. I think Robert Humphreys is going to be joining us relatively soon. I don't know, a lot of people under the weather at the moment. Just, kind of post holidays, whatever, but it doesn't matter, Bentley. You know why? Because there's playoff football. So I'm going to fire the promo, see if you can get your background going. And here we go. Another edition of Sports and Tacos.
All right, this is Sports and Tacos. We got freaks out there. We got 4 of them. We got 5 of them. We got special guests. We got a man in the shower. We got a brainiac. We got a guy that looks like he's supposed to be on Sports Center. And then you got me. It's all about the TMP, Sports and Tacos.
Perfect. You can see Sports and Tacos at YouTube. Smash that subscribe button right now. We are on Sunday mornings, Monday nights, and Thursday nights. Sports and Tacos, YouTube, subscribe. Do it now. All righty, dude. See, see if you can get your background up. It's not like that big of a deal, but it's playoff time. It's time to separate the contenders from the pretenders. Time for the cream to rise to the top in the NFL. What are your thoughts on the games yesterday? Obviously it was a crazy entertaining day, but
I'd like to know, where do the 49ers come from? Like every year you hear the team is injured. There's nobody. We don't have a quarterback. Everyone's hurt. You hear nothing but negative things. And here are the guys back again in the playoffs, and they look very dominant. I guess you got to say, give it to their coaching. They have a great staff, a great head coach. It just makes everything look easy. But I'm not a Niners fan, but I'm really impressed. I hear nothing but bad things all season long, and then here are the guys. They're back in the playoffs, so they're doing something right.
Yeah, no, they. If there's a team that kind of scares me, because I've got all my Super Bowl futures, plays out there, it's the Niners, because actually, if you think about it, for the last 3-4 years, they've overall, basically all they've really been missing is a quarterback, Jimmy
Don't they have
G.
Garoppolo? I thought Garoppolo was good enough, and I always hear them complain, Garoppolo, he's no good. Garoppolo's,
well,
the guy, gets them in the playoffs, looks pretty good to me pressure football.
He's like, Jimmy G is good to a point. I don't know if they're ever going to win a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. And obviously they think the same thing, or they would have never drafted Trey Lance. But the point is they've had a great defense for 3-4 years. Okay. And now they're starting to put together a pretty amazing offense. I mean, dude, you put Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey on the same offense, that's always going to be explosive, The only thing they've been missing is that quarterback. And who knew that their third string quarterback would be able to come in and win playoff games for them? The
guy's playing amazing. Now, what happened to the guy who was supposed to replace Garoppolo? Remember, did they put him in?
Trey Lance?
Yeah.
Trey Lance. Yeah, no, he broke his ankle in week 1.
Yeah.
Because if you remember in the offseason, they were thinking about trading Jimmy G. Because he was trade bait. They had Trey Lance.
Yeah, we're going to get rid of him. He's no good. We're going to get – I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah, and somehow, the Niners are a scary team now in the NFL playoffs. I mean, I don't want to say – put it this way. I think that they might be the – okay, I mean, I'm gonna run a bunch of scenarios here because we got a lot of NFL talk to get into. But with the Niners team and Brock Purdy playing basically out of it. I don't want to even say it's out of his mind because we don't even know. Like, he's such an unknown that I don't know if it's just the team around him. I've seen this happen before with the Broncos. I don't know if you remember Trevor Siemian. Like,
Oh, what happened to that guy?
Exactly. I don't know if Brock Purdy's going to end up being or if he's really good. But for right now, I mean, he's got a ton of weapons around him, and he just won an NFL playoff game. I mean, it wasn't like an NFC championship game. It was the Seahawks. But
it's a playoff game.
Dude, it's a playoff
game.
And
let me ask you on the Niners. This is another thing because I need a refresher regarding the Niners. Their head coach, is it Shanahan?
Yes, Kyle Shanahan. It's Mike Shanahan's kid.
Okay. Yeah, and he's a smart guy. He just makes the greatest things out of offenses.
No, exactly. And they are all disciples of Bill Walsh, just so you know.
There you go.
Basically, Bill Walsh, I don't know if he invented the West Coast offense, but he's the one that took it to the 49ers and then won Super Bowls with it. And then Mike Shanahan was a coach under Bill Walsh for a while after he had left the Broncos. He was an offensive coordinator. Same thing, basically. Just it's the West Coast offense disciples, and it's all basically based on, I believe, play action. It's and I've talked about this in the past. Not to go like too depth into what, not to get too off track, but the point of it keeps the defense off balance. If you go back to the Mike Shanahan Super Bowl winning Broncos of the late 90s, they were 50-50 run and pass, because obviously if all you do is run the football, they stack the line. If all you do is throw the football, they can, they can spread out and put a whole bunch of DBs back there. But if they don't know what the hell you're doing and you can run play action, then it over time has worked pretty well. As long as you have it
bootleg,
Yes, you get the bootleg, you get the sprint right option. But anyways, just so you know, basically Kyle Shanahan, I mean, obviously he has a good teacher with his dad.
And one more thing about Shanahan, was he involved, remember, with the Jets when Sanchez did those playoff runs?
I don't know where Kyle Shanahan, I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure.
I'm leaning yes on that, but I better research.
No, actually, I think Kyle Shanahan, I am pretty sure, I think he was the offensive coordinator for like the Falcons for a while, because actually the Broncos were trying to get Kyle Shanahan before he became the head coach of the 49ers.
Okay.
But there apparently what I had heard, and I don't, maybe the Niners were just a better fit, but I think because at that time, Pat Bowlen was still alive and still the owner of the Denver Broncos. And I think there was still some bad blood there from basically
the Shanahan name in there no more.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't so much that. I think it was just, I don't know exactly when Mike Shanahan and Pat Bowlen parted ways, I don't know. There might've been some bad blood there to where he shunned the Denver Broncos and chose the 49ers. So anyways,
it's impressive. It's just impressive that I don't know how many seasons he's been there. What, 3, maybe 5, maybe? It's time
something
going
like
so
that.
Fast.
Yeah,
They're always making it to the playoffs. The regular season, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Injuries, they suck. Then what? They're in the playoffs, and what? They won a playoff game. Now they're in the NFC final. Like, huh? So
yeah, it's freaking. It's pretty amazing to me. I mean, obviously they got super lucky. Maybe I shouldn't call it super lucky, because they do have a great team. But typically you can have a great team, but without a great quarterback, usually you don't go very far in the playoffs. It's pretty rare. And we've talked about this on the show before, where if you go back and you look at all the Super Bowl winners over the history of the NFL, I think you can only count 4 or 5 Super Bowl winners that did not have quote unquote great quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the only
So-
one I could think of on that one would be remember the 2001 Buccaneers? They had that. There was
Yeah.
nobody that was this guy.
Brad. It was Brad. It was a guy named Brad Johnson, I do believe.
Yeah, Brad Johnson. Who else is this guy? And same with the
Yes.
Ravens too. Remember when the Ravens won their first Super Bowl 2000? They had like a nobody quarterback, but goddamn, their defense was just killing everybody.
No,
But
yeah, exactly. So, and actually, that kind of leads into what, honestly, I hope does happen to the 49ers, because the 49ers do scare me. Like right now, I think I've got the Bengals. I've got so I'm rooting for the Bengals, the Buccaneers. I'll actually have to look it up. But the Niners, they do scare me if Brock Purdy plays good. And this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that if the Niners have to play, and this is what I really am hoping happens, if the Niners have to face old man Brady, forget about this is just me, and it's my hopes. Forget about the team around you. You know what I'm saying? Is Brock Purdy going to be able to defeat a grizzled old champion like TB12? And, people don't know the Buccaneers are actually starting to get healthy in the playoffs. Like a lot of players that they've been missing throughout the regular season are going to be ready to go for the playoffs. And, they haven't done much. They were not a good standard, great Tom Brady team this year. But I'm sorry, dude. Tom Brady in the playoffs, he's next level. So what my question is Brock Purdy, can he take them to the promised land? Because I don't know.
I think you put it all together with Shanahan, and you got this great offense, all young guys. Here's the problem with the Buccaneers. And again, it's Brady. I never doubt him. But here's the problem. The Buccaneers, they're not a disciplined team right now. I think they have still a Super Bowl hangover. Nobody looks like they're taking things serious right now. And unfortunately, this year with the Buccaneers, I'm always rooting for Brady, always, no matter what. But right now, I think they're coaching the staff. I think the Buccaneers are not disciplined. And so that's where I think it's going to bite them in the butt now, where it could be too late, where they start playing, okay, pretty decent. But because they've been undisciplined this whole time, they don't have that quick reaction. And
That's
right
probably
now,
true. That's probably true. Yeah. But next, I'm not sure what the playoff matchups are going to be, next weekend. But if it's, I'm just saying, because overall, for sure, the Niners are, obviously, if Brock Purdy plays good, they can beat anybody in the NFC.
Niners can go to the Super Bowl. They're a dangerous playoff team. I don't doubt Niners ever. No, not in the playoffs. I don't doubt them. Remember last year when they went to Green Bay? Remember that one?
Yeah.
They could have won the Super Bowl. They were that close to winning the Super Bowl.
But I'm just saying they might run into Superman, a guy who probably shouldn't even be in the playoffs, but they run into TB12. I'm telling you, I'm taking TB12 all day. Great players don't always play great. They just play great when they have to. And on paper, absolutely, the Niners should absolutely crush the Buccaneers. But I'm sorry, dude. TB12, if the guy is breathing, I'm not betting against him.
He's familiar with that Niners team, playing against them. And so I do believe I don't go against Brady at all. My question is going to be, does this team want it bad enough? Are they actually going to be disciplined finally? Because I think their head coach right now is a great head coach, but he's too laid back, I think. I think he's afraid to discipline these guys. I don't know the story, but let's see. It is the playoffs. Anything is possible. But first of all, never, ever doubt the Niners. Not now. I would never doubt the Niners right now in the playoff run. They are dangerous, and I think we all agree on that.
Oh, no, they on paper, or forget on paper, just from what I've seen, I think right now, if I'm the NFC and Brock Purdy can continue playing like he plays, nobody in the NFC necessarily can beat them. except, a legend. It would take a legend like Tom Brady, I think, right now to knock them off. Because, think about it. What if the NFC Championship game right now is 49ers Eagles? I'm taking the 49ers.
Taking
If
Niners,
it was 49, if it was Niners Cowboys, I'm taking the Niners.
Yep.
If it was basically, and this is super wild card weekend, so who knows? And the first half of that game, they definitely let the Seahawks kind of hang around, but then the second half of that game, they came out and smashed them.
And it's all about winning. That's the whole point. It's all about winning. And you know what? The thing with the Eagles, I don't know. I don't think the Eagles still are for real. I don't think so. Everyone's taking, look at their record. But I don't see the Eagles as a playoff dangerous team. I don't see that. I see the Niners as that. And again, I'm not a Niners fan or Eagles fan. But
yeah, and honestly, that plays to the 49ers' favor. Kind of. Now, the bottom line for me with the Niners, are they really, and you never know, there could be a storybook ending to their season, but is a third string quarterback really going to take them to the promised land? You know what I'm saying?
I believe it's possible. Just the reason why, and I would trust nobody else, but the reason why here, Shanahan, Niners, they know the playoff formula. So I believe it's very possible.
Yeah, you might have a good point there. So, okay, cool. Well, let's take a quick break and we'll dive into that freaking, I guess, if you're a Chargers fan, train wreck of a Chargers game from yesterday. If you're a Jacksonville fan, you're loving it. But yeah, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll dive into that just unbelievable Chargers Jaguars game from yesterday. So we'll be back here in a minute.
All right, ladies and gentlemen in TV land, YouTube Sports and Tacos, Mondays, Thursdays, and Sunday Fun Day. Come join us, YouTube Sports and Tacos.
Sports talk shows where the hosts may be famous, when they get paid, no matter whether they're right or wrong, kind of like the weatherman. On Sports and Tacos, we only get paid to be right. So on Sports and Tacos, we put our money where our mouth is. Watch sports and tacos.
YouTube is the place to go to watch some sports and tacos, y'all. Check us out 3 times a week. Follow us, like us. We love you. Let's do it. Join us.
Okay.
Why Sports and Tacos? Because we're number one. We try to do things a little different from everybody else, and that's who we are because we party like the big dogs.
Okay, sweet. Who are the guys at Sports and Tacos? We're a bunch of sports experts who work together in a huge sports bar forever, and we know more sports than anybody in this entire world because we put our money where our mouth is. All righty, everybody. All right, so we're going to give a quick shout out to our buddy Paul Pratt over at Noah Water. We're hoping to get Paul on the show here relatively soon. He's got a super amazing brand of water, electrolyte injected, super hydrating water called Noah Water. So you can Google that and check it out. Go buy some. And also want to give a shout out to my buddy Ray Panetta, who I would like to have on the show pretty soon with Pro Signatures Memorabilia. Ray Panetta has the coolest sports memorabilia that I've ever seen. And he donates a lot of the proceeds to charity. I see him at all the big celebrity auctions and stuff. Great guy. He's got super amazing memorabilia. check him out. Google Pro Signatures memorabilia. The guy has stuff that just it makes me drool just looking at some of the pieces that he has in his collection. So, anyways, all right, back to the. Like I said, if you're a Chargers fan, back to the train wreck that was Super Wild Card Weekend for the Los Angeles Chargers, and maybe the legitimacy that the Jaguars are for real and Trevor Lawrence is becoming what he was supposed to become. I mean, how did that happen, dude? I mean,
Trevor Lawrence looks like he belongs in OC right now, surfing, dude.
Oh, of course he does.
Who's his quarterback with the long hair? Like, yeah, bro, dude, he's like a surfer.
He, last year for him obviously was a train wreck. A lot of it didn't have anything to do, with him necessarily. His head coach, just all the drama with the Jaguars last season. I feel bad for the Chargers. I feel bad for Herbert. But I mean, where he disappeared in the second half of that game. I mean, apparently I didn't actually get to watch the game because I was at work, but there was a bad call. It sounds like it was a Joey Bosa freaked out over some bad calls, this and that. But the fact of the matter is they were up by 27 points.
Yeah, I was watching the game.
And so tell me, basically, all I know is what I heard on the radio when I was coming home. So, and it sounded insane.
I think seriously, there are sports gods, and I think there's some teams, they have a curse, like Clippers, Chargers. There's just some teams, there's a curse. I don't know what it is. Bills as well. We'll see. We'll talk about that. But I'm watching them and again, when they were losing, I'm like, oh yeah, they're probably going to lose. I just knew it already. So I think, unfortunately, the Chargers, and I always root for the poor guys. I like the Chargers. They're the local team. I think they're better at San Diego Chargers, but I do root for the Chargers always just because it's the Chargers. I know they're underdogs. Right. And unfortunately, when this happened, I was not surprised. And it was, to me, it's the Chargers. Yeah, I knew this was going to happen. So
yeah,
I don't know what to tell you, man.
It's nuts. I mean, the Chargers were one of my long shot picks to win the Super Bowl. They have a quarterback who I think is freaking amazing.
Herbert's awesome.
Dude, he is. He is.
Yeah. Young Brad Pitt.
And it's just, okay, the 31-30. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the Chargers are snake bit. But, okay, for me, the comeback is more surprising than the actual outcome of this game. Because when I looked at this game on paper, the Chargers were a 2-point favorite at Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And early in the season, I was actually high on Jacksonville. Because if you remember about the first month of the season, they were crushing teams. They actually crushed the Chargers in LA.
I went to that game.
Yeah, you remember early in the season.
Yeah.
And then for like 2 months, the Jaguars just fell off a freaking cliff. You know what I'm saying?
It was just a fluke.
Yeah, they just fell off a cliff when it was back to, the Jaguars are back to being the old Jaguars. So and then I had given up on them. And of course, the second that I give up on them, Trevor Lawrence decides he wants to become a superstar, and they start winning games again. They sneak into the playoff. And, it's kind of the same thing. Where at least early in the season, their defense looked pretty freaking amazing. They were, offense and defense. Then I don't know exactly what happened because I kind of quit following them through their 2-month just downfall.
Yeah.
But I know from what I saw in the beginning of the season, and that was if you put that good of a defense with that good of a quarterback, you can win a lot of football games. And I don't want to say that the Chargers went in, because the Chargers are the Chargers. There's no way they went in there like overconfident. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Herbert's going to end up becoming freaking the second coming of Dan Marino, but that game, I guess the only real like statement from that game is that the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence are legit. They are no joke. Because that's a pretty free, and we can dive into the coaching, and because there was a lot of criticism of Staley for playing like all of his starters against the Broncos last weekend when he didn't need to be, and they got a little dinged up. I don't know if that really had any effect on this game, but there's a lot of talk that Staley might be getting fired after this game because he's had Herbert, I think, for 2 or 3 years now, whatever. And, a first round wild card knocked out of the playoffs with a quarterback that good, and essentially kind of a team that's that good. There's a lot of people wanting him fired now, especially after they were up by 27 freaking points.
Remember those 4 interceptions, and I was watching. I'm like, oh my god, Asante Samuel was picking Lawrence all day long, and then I'm like, oh wait a minute, look what's happening now.
Yeah, it's I was looking at basically like the summary and the box score. I mean, the Chargers were up 17-0 at the end of the first quarter. It was 27-7 at halftime. It just, I don't know how that happens, dude.
And for a quarterback, for throwing so many interceptions, he wasn't phased. Lawrence came back and started throwing the ball again, and look at that.
Okay, well, I mean, the freaking I'm looking at the box score here. The freaking Chargers scored 3 points in the second half of that game. So these two teams went into the locker room at halftime, and one team obviously made some adjustments. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I don't know. Again, I kind of maybe compare the Jaguars a little bit. And again, I don't know a ton about them because they fell off such a cliff for 2 months in the middle of the season. But at least from what I remember, when they were crushing the first month of the season, you have a defense that good combined with a quarterback that's that good. Anything's possible. I guarantee you right now in the AFC, because everybody is all over the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals. Okay? I promise you, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals do not want to play the Jaguars right now. Anybody? Does anybody want to play that? I mean, it almost makes me want to throw a little something on the freaking Jaguars to win it all. Because
I think would be a fun game to watch the Jaguars and Bengals.
Oh, and it could happen. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be a shootout.
So you have a lot of drama coming out of this game. The Chargers head coach, there's a lot of people calling for his job. And then, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars all of a sudden are for real. They shouldn't have, they probably shouldn't have. I don't want to say they shouldn't have made the playoffs.
No,
but I promise you, if you went back to the end, if you went back to like week 10, they
fell off the map. I remember these guys are they have one of the worst records and stuff, like the Texans. I'm like, oh,
they like I said, they got off to the strong start and then they freaking fell off the map. Everybody was like, the Jaguars are back to being the old Jaguars, and something happened, and Trevor Lawrence is legit. So I guarantee, I don't know. Nobody wants to mess with the Jaguars. I don't know. Again, I don't know who they're going to end up playing next week. I'll have to take a look at the schedule for next week. But 49ers, they're a scary team in the NFC. And now the Jaguars are a scary team in the AFC. And in an extremely stacked AFC. Like I said, Bengals, Bills, and Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Now the Jaguars.
Can the Jaguars be the new Bengals? Remember the Bengals last year? Like the Bengals, like what? Where these guys come from? Can the Jaguars be the new Bengals of this
absolutely? I think absolutely, and I don't know the stats. All I know is when I was paying lots of attention to the Jaguars early in the season, their defense was smash mouth. So you get a quarterback because Trevor Lawrence he's a big dude. He's a big, strong guy. You know, now don't get me wrong, Joe Burrow is amazing. But if you have two amazing quarterbacks and one team has a smash mouth defense and one has kind of a finesse defense, what team are you taking? The defense could end up being the difference. Yeah. Now, what does kind of scare me and why I would not go huge on the Jaguars is it may be too fast, too soon. You know what I'm saying? They did go down by 27 points. And to come back from that is amazing. But like, do you think the Jaguars realistically could go into Cincinnati or into Kansas City or into Buffalo and come out with an upset?
Well, here's the thing. Just like the Bengals last season, they're like one of those teams like, we're not supposed to be here, guys. Let's just play. We got nothing to lose. Let's just throw the ball. Let's play. And one thing about Burrows and Lawrence, these guys will throw like a few picks, you know, and they're not phased. They're not, it doesn't phase them out. They just, okay, let's go back at it. And they'll throw some touchdowns. You know, you see some guys throw a pick and they're scared after, and then they're like, oh no, don't throw the ball no more. And these guys, they'll throw a pick, like, all right, next play, they'll throw it again. It's like, when you have that attitude of let's have fun, we're not supposed to be here, we got nothing to lose. Those are the dangerous teams. And I see so much similarity between the Bengals and the Jaguars. It's going to be a fun playoffs. I think these guys can do something. And one thing about Bengals, I'm going to give them credit right now. No one expected them. Even this year, they were thinking they're going to be a fluke. Here are the Bengals again in the playoffs. And freaking Joe Burrows, dude, he's the man.
They're my team. You know,
he makes it happen.
They are my team throughout the playoffs, basically. And it's pretty much just based on the fact that if you can beat Patrick Mahomes, you can beat anybody.
Yeah.
And they are a better team than they were last year, in my opinion.
In KC.
Now they have a running game to go along with Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying? They are a better team than they were last year. But again, you take a Trevor Lawrence who's now gaining confidence, becoming the quarterback that he was always supposed to be, and you combine that with a smash mouth defense. Now, I think that, okay, here's what I think will be the deciding factor. And this is just me. If they have to go and play in Kansas City or Cincinnati or Buffalo when it is just cold as balls, I think a team from Jacksonville could have a problem playing in frigid conditions.
Yeah, man, that's one thing. In Jacksonville, they got that nice humidity. Everybody's loose. And
yes, everybody loves to play football when it's 72 and sunny. It's a whole different ball game.
Oh my god, I'm cold.
Dude,
like, I can't
when
move.
when it is 12 degrees outside and snowing, like, I don't know if I'm from Denver. Just catching a football when it is that cold hurts your fingers.
Yeah,
You know
I've been to New England. I've been to Boston for the playoff games, and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is cold." And people were telling, "Oh no, this is nothing. Like, no, this is like not so bad." I was like,
I can't remember where Trevor Lawrence was from. I mean, I know he's from Clemson. I don't know where he like grew up, but that's the one maybe X factor I could see that could be their downfall is weather, possibly. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's gonna be fun to watch because now you have this you have a fourth kind of great team in the AFC, at least in my opinion. Put it this way. You have a fourth great quarterback in the AFC right now.
Yeah, it's we're seeing the new generation. Remember, it was Brady and Manning. Now we're going to put in there Mahomes, Burrow. I'm throwing him in there, and it could be Lawrence. He could be that other guy in there, that mix. Oh, and of course, Josh Allen.
Yeah, no, of course, and again, of course, Josh Allen. That I think that is maybe one thing that is going to, maybe that's why, and I think that's still why I like my long shot on old man Brady. Because if you look at the NFC and you look at the teams that are in the playoffs, how many of them have great quarterbacks in the NFC? I'm talking Hall of Fame, future Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I mean, who's left in there? There's not that many. And I say that because if you go back and you look at the history of who has won Super Bowls, very rarely is there a team that did not have a great quarterback.
Yeah, and Green Bay's not in there this year.
Aaron Rodgers is out. So you got, you have studs in the AFC and you have kind of like, your middle tier, maybe upper tier quarterbacks in the NFC. But anyways, so let's take another break and we're going to talk about games that are going to be played today. So we'll be back here in just a couple of minutes. And
All right, this is Sports and Tacos. We got freaks out there. We got 4 of them. We got 5 of them. We got special guests. We got a man in the shower. We got a brainiac. We got a guy that looks like he's supposed to be on Sports Center. And then you got me. It's all about the TMP, Sports and Tacos.
perfect. Sports talk shows where the hosts may be famous, when they get paid, no matter whether they're right or wrong, kind of like the weatherman. On Sports and Tacos, we only get paid to be right. So on Sports and Tacos, we put our money where our mouth is.
All about having some fun, a little bit of sports knowledge from 3, 4, 5, 6 different folks, depending on the night. Let you know about what happened that day in sports. We'll get to it. Check us out. Sports and Tacos at YouTube.
Perfect.
All right, ladies and gentlemen in TV land, YouTube, Sports and Tacos, Mondays, Thursdays, and Sunday Fun Day. Come join us. YouTube, Sports and Tacos.
Bammy,
What's up?
how you doing?
I'm doing well, brother. I'm doing well. How's it going?
Nice.
Sorry, I
Good.
overslept a little bit, I guess, today. Huh?
Yeah, that's okay. No big deal. But yeah, so it's just me and Bentley on this
Yeah,
morning.
see,
We were just chatting about the games yesterday. Basically, real quick, we'll just get you caught up, and then we'll dive in because you have a very important football game coming on this afternoon or this morning. It's tonight actually.
yes.
So
Yeah.
anyways, okay, in the NFC, after yesterday's Niners game, do you think the Niners may be the team to beat in the NFC?
Yeah, they if they actually put together 2 full halves of football, man, that team would beat every team by like 60 points, it looks like. So with just 1 full half, they only win by like 30 or 40.
Dude,
Yeah, they look good, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Purdy,
Purdy.
even though the bad first half, he still comes back and kicks butt in the second half. I mean, kind of vice versa the game before.
Mm-hmm.
I keep waiting for him to fall, but he's not. And with the support he's got around him, brother, they kind of look like kind of the most complete team. And it's hard to say with Mr. Irrelevant. He's relevant.
Yeah, I guarantee the Cowboys and the Eagles are taking notice.
They got to be. I mean,
I mean,
that defense
that's-
is stout, brother. That
Dude,
defense
that's-
is stout, and
That's a legit ass football team. If that third string quarterback, Mr. Brock Purdy, can continue playing like he was playing. And my only, I guess what I was saying was, and this is just my opinion, because they probably crushed the Buccaneers. But if they have to play Tom Brady, like does the team? I don't know. I think that to me that could be maybe their only kryptonite in the NFC playoffs on their way to the Super Bowl is running up against old man Brady with a healthy Buccaneers, a guy that has played in playoff games like we drink water.
yeah.
I think that's you know.
Of course, you got to be afraid of old man Brady if you face him, but I don't think he gets past the Cowboys tonight for a chance to see the 49ers, or tomorrow night, I guess it would be. But
yeah. So I did, dude. So okay, and then over in the AFC, we were just talking about, are the Chargers snake bit? You know, is their coach just an idiot?
I was just fire the whole team, fire the staff, fire everybody that had anything to do with that second half debacle right there.
You know, okay, is it more like, did the Chargers lose that game, or are the Jaguars fully legit on the map? Trevor Lawrence is a superstar. Like, is that what we're really seeing?
Hi, Bentley. By the way,
Hey!
What's happening?
All is well here. Yeah, it's going to be a good game. You got Ravens at Bengals today. It's going to be an amazing game.
Yeah, we do have that one, but yeah. But now, real quick, back to what you were saying, though, Spencer. But it's going to be hard to go against that team right there now. I mean,
yeah.
That's,
basically, what we had come to was, you know, the Chargers. They're I don't know why I can't think. Sean Payton. Payton. Do you think Sean Payton? Do you think Staley loses his job if Sean Payton's waiting in the wings in LA?
I don't think so. No, I don't think they're going to kill him on that one right there. I mean, it's a fluke. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to explain the fact that they're up 27-0 at the half, or what, 27-7 right before half. They finally got a shot in, but still, I mean, I think it's more of that they got a little too conservative, of course, like a lot of teams do when they get the big lead. They just want to get the clock run down. And I guess, they ran against the Jaguars team that ain't given up in what, like 7 weeks now, 8 weeks. They gave them an opening and they took it. And I go back to what I was saying earlier. I don't think the Chargers are going to go very far in this tournament anyway. So them coming back against them ain't really that impressive in a sense. I mean, it is impressive, of course, for the comeback. But if you'd have done it against, like I'd say, you know, an Eagles or a Bills or somebody like that, I'd say, okay, that's a little more legitimate because that's a team that actually could win the tournament.
I was saying that earlier to Bentley. Basically, the outcome for me wasn't much of a surprise, but the comeback was a hell of a surprise. That was,
yeah. But I don't think heads rolling in LA this week. I think everybody's going to just get chewed out and have to let that sink in and sting for a little bit. But I mean, what they say, what don't kill you makes you stronger, and that's a pretty hell of a team.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just don't see him giving up on him on that one time.
I know that at least in LA on Sports Talk this last week, there was a lot of people pissed that he played all the starters in a meaningless game against Denver.
That's true.
And then he goes out and, you know, blows a 27-point lead. He just, you know, he's got, and you know, the thing I don't agree with, I don't know if they have that great, like, of a team all around, but they do have a quarterback. And they have a good team around a great quarterback, and to be getting knocked out in the first round of the playoffs, missing the playoffs last year, it's kind of starting. Yeah. All I know is the momentum. People are getting tired, and here's like I said, it may be different. He might keep his job in a year where Sean Payton wasn't just sitting there waiting in the wings.
Yeah, but I don't. I don't think Sean Payton's going to go there. I mean, even if that job was available, I just don't think that job's available. One, I mean, I don't see the. Maybe I'm wrong since I don't live in LA or San Diego, but I wouldn't feel like the pressure for the Chargers to win it all, even with the team and the people they've got around them, is as big as it is in other places like Denver, Philly, those kind of spots right there.
Yeah, it's probably true.
So even though it's a horrible debacle of a blow up right there, and then last year too, and it cost them the playoffs for that stupid timeout right before and let the Raiders kick a field goal or whatever it was, which cost them the playoffs last year. Yeah, that's okay. 2 bad mistakes in a row, but I don't see the urgency right yet for me. And if they do this again next year, like I said, ask the whole staff, ask everybody.
Yeah,
trade Herbert for 5 draft picks if you can, whatever. But
that's a good point. He's not the coach in Denver or Dallas or a place where there's just crazy pressure. Like that is probably the least pressure. One of the least pressure jobs in the NFL, because seriously, nobody gives a crap in LA about the Chargers.
That's what I figure. I mean, you got a lot more going on in LA besides the Chargers.
So that's you got a good point there. It's not like they're going to be a bunch of fans throwing bricks through the coach's window.
Yeah.
Okay, good point. So anyways, that's what we were chatting about. And then basically, to me, there is now a 4th great quarterback in the AFC. And I promise you, all of a sudden, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals do not want to face the Jaguars.
I was right.
Yeah, Mr. Tone just walked in here. Yeah,
get him on here. We're extending the show.
Get your ass over here, sir. But no, I've been one of the biggest anti Trevor Lawrence Jacksonville people. And again, I have to give Tony props and our old buddy Ian props. They were one of the only couples that was giving Doug Peterson a chance to do anything in Jacksonville. And he's turned that team from nothing into a scary team. I mean, yeah, they're a scary team to play, man.
Well, you remember the beginning of the season, I was all over the Jaguars. I was like, oh my God, this team is finally coming together. You remember that? But and then they fall off a cliff for 2 months, become the Jaguars that they were always been. And then somewhere I wasn't paying any attention. All of a sudden they sneak into the playoffs. And like I was telling Bentley, I guarantee the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals do not want to play the Jaguars right now. And I think maybe only one of the only saving graces for those teams right now is going to be cold weather. If Jacksonville has to go and play in a cold Kansas City, a cold Cincinnati, or a cold Buffalo, I think that might be the difference. But other than that, I think the Jaguars, if they got to play in Jacksonville, might be able to beat anybody.
And you do really, it was 40 degrees at that game last night, so it ain't like it was warm in Jacksonville last night. I know 40 degrees ain't 20 degrees, but 40 in Jacksonville is about like 20 here.
Yeah, you got to go, you go play a game.
Jacksonville? Is that possible?
I know. That is cold for Jacksonville, but that to me ain't cold. You go play an AFC, division or AFC championship game in like Buffalo or Kansas City when it's going to be 23 and windy. I think that may be the only factor.
Yeah, no, I know. I can see that. Yeah.
So, anyways, TMP.
Yo, baby. What's up, man, in the shower? How you doing, baby? Hey, man, I'm sorry about your pats last week, but you know what? It happens, man. Like with all my teams, like Michigan, Broncos, Avalanche, we all hurt. We hurt. But you know what? I'm giving a shout out to Jacksonville right now. Even those alligators were freezing last night. But you know what? 27-0, and they come back and win. God bless America.
Yeah, that was crazy. Okay, so that's we were talking about that, Tony. And then we were talking about how legit now are the 49ers. Me and Bentley think the 49ers are now the team to beat in the NFC.
That is correct. And like I told you before, I feel like my 3 teams are still in it. On the NFC, I picked Darren 49ers, and then I also picked, they're still in it too, the Cowboys. We'll see on tomorrow night. But then also, you know what? those Eagles, you got to watch. Fly, Eagles, fly. You got to watch out for them. But AFC is still coming down into play, where tonight we'll tell the story of the tape for AFC, where the Baltimore Ravens get to enter in Cincinnati. You know what? Without having Mr. Man himself, it's going to be a long day for the Baltimore Ravens. But you know what? I still think the Bills are going to cover. The spread, the over and under is 42. That one's a tough one because how cold is it in Buffalo right now?
It's actually a beautiful day in Buffalo, like 30 degrees and sunny, what I was looking at.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
So Bama, dive in because we got the games today. I know Lamar's not playing today, right?
Yeah, Lamar's not playing. Yeah.
So
I haven't checked this morning to see, but he still hadn't decided on whether it was going to be Huntley or Brown. Huntley, of course, is the Saga Street. He got hurt a couple weeks ago, and we're trying to get him back there. But it's either going to be a not 100% Huntley or a 100% rookie. So, yeah. And that's going to be tough.
Yeah, I guess that will be tough.
Defense, it is a rival game in defense, and we are not afraid to play that team. Out of Joe Burrow's 3 worst games this year, 2 of them have been against the Ravens. That's his QBR rating. So we always hold them tight. We can hold them within a score. So if we can get a lucky turnover, something like that, I'm not saying we can't. As crazy as this weekend's been so far, I ain't counting out my Ravens tonight. Not counting them out. I'm not gonna bet on them, but I ain't counting them out.
So I got a little story for you. When I was helping out my daughter today, I'm driving home and I'm listening to DraftKings. Well, DraftKings, how would you knock on your bettors? But they did. They posted one guy when the game was already 27-0. He put $1.5 million on the LA Chargers on the money line to win a whopping $6,000 to $7,000 extra on top of his bet.
Wah.
Yep, guess what? Yeah. And then on the other DraftKings bet, this one's a positive one for the San Francisco game and the Seattle game. One person bet $450,000 on an anytime scores for McCaffrey and the rookie Warner on Seattle came through. There's always positives in there. So $450,000 just turned into $1.2 million.
Jesus.
Add that up.
Hey, I did take Jacksonville plus 23.5, and they were down 27-0 last night. I wish I'd have took the money line.
So,
but now Baltimore's got a tough one tonight.
It's freaking nuts, dude. So yeah, Baltimore. I think they're 8.5 point underdogs.
Is it 8.5? Because it was 9.5 yesterday. That means the real money's gone on Baltimore now. If it dropped one,
no,
I'm looking for a silver lining.
Right. No, you're right. It's a just cover baby game. But who knows? Who knows? You never know. I'm trying to see interesting games here. Vikings, Giants.
That's going to be a fun game, I really think. I think that's going to be, of course, between the two teams, the only game that doesn't have a third string quarterback playing in it's going to be that one there. Knock on wood that nobody gets hurt. But yeah, I think that's going to be a fun game to watch, that Giants and Vikings game. And I'm like an old Dr. Jones to maybe swing something by him.
Yeah, because What are you thinking, Tone? Freaking you?
I'm on the opposite, my friend. I think all these games that Minnesota has been following through and going through, playing comeback. They do have the largest comeback in history in football as we speak. But also, you're looking at all these games are within with under a touchdown, where they come back and win, or they win by that. All these. I feel this time around, Minnesota's going to step up to the mic and step on that podium and scream. I give the 3 points.
Yeah. You're probably, you would think that Kirk Cousins is going to win a big game sooner or later in his career. Right?
The only big games he ever won big in was Michigan State beating my Michigan. That's the only time he won something big. Besides this last one against the Indianapolis Colts, which hasn't showed me nothing. I see Derek Carr going to Indianapolis being that new quarterback.
I I'm talking prime time, meaningful game. I mean, that comeback a few weeks ago was impressive. It just, this is a, this is a prime time big football. This is the biggest football game in Minnesota in quite a while. So I don't know. You think Kirk Cousins, it's all teed up for him. So that's probably why Bama's going to be right and the Giants are going to end up being.
If it looks too good to be true, it ain't going to be true.
Vikings. I don't know what's this. I don't think the Vikings. I think the Giants will beat the Vikings.
Oh, dude, wouldn't that?
It'll be a one-score game. It will be a one-score game.
I mean, because I kind of, not that I'm rooting for the Bills, but the Bills and the Vikings, seeing as how neither team has ever won a Super Bowl.
Well, that'd be nice to see. I'd love to see that.
But I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen.
I don't know.
And go figure that, shotgun. Both of them lost 4 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
One of them lost it 4 in a row.
So would this be the first ever tie in the Super Bowl if those two teams got to play? They just it'd be like a 4-day long game and it's still a tie. Sorry, we got to call this.
That would be freaking hilarious. So, okay, and then our last game of the day, not very interesting. You got the Dolphins and the Bills. The Bills.
That's going to be a little more fun than you think, I believe. I don't think it's going to be
the
like
Dolphins are scary at the Bills. I'm not. The Dolphins. Look, man.
It's not going to be like the damn 49ers game yesterday, I don't believe.
No, I think the Dolphins have a chance to.
I look at it more like the late game. Yeah, Bentley, for sure. Yeah.
See, okay, I love you guys, I really do, but I have to disagree with you, my friends. The Bills have something to prove, something to honor, and you know what? You got to go with it, man. I'm going Bills all day. You know what? They're going to do something that they haven't done in a long time. They're going to be blitzing all day long on that third string running back, quarterback. I can't even talk to you about that because it just makes me weary that you lose. Well, okay, Teddy Bridgewater is on call right now because of his sprained finger. So guess what? He might have a couple plays, but you know what? You still got Tyreek Hill and you got Waddle. You got their tight end. You got a good running court, but you know what? Those Bills are going to run down their throats. And you know what? The offense is going to step up. Watch today. I see McKenzie catching a couple touchdowns because Stephon Diggs is going to be bellied up.
So you're taking the Bill. You're taking the Bills minus 15.
Yep.
What you got, Bentley?
Let's not forget about the Bills. Will the Bills curse come into play today?
Not this time around. Their curse usually comes in the Super Bowl.
It's true. Wide right.
I mean, they did kind of have a lot of the kickoff return last year. I mean, last weekend, the first play after the Damar Hamlin coming back and all that, or getting healthy and back in Buffalo. But yeah, maybe they ran their luck out last week, and that's it. So maybe it's gonna be like a kickoff fumble. Miami's gonna jump out early on them. Who knows? Yeah.
See, and that's where I disagree because today, number 3 is going to be out on that field, but he's going to be with his players. And you know what? How much hype and how much love and how much scream that's going to happen. And guess what? The Miami Fish, those Dolphins better go because they're going to get ran over.
I think you're right, Tony. I think they are going to get freaking steamrolled. I don't know if they're going to cover that 15, but I don't know. Today's games are kind of just cover baby games, just cover baby. That's
and seeing like what we were talking about earlier about with Minnesota. Hey man, you know what? They haven't been shining for the last couple, maybe 3 to 4 weeks or the whole month of December. But you know what? They did do that huge comeback. I feel they're going to be on point. Plus, they got Cook in the backfield. They got Jefferson. They got Thielen. And then they also got, him too, the quarterback. But you know what? Their defense has been stepping up. That's what's been saving them games. I think today the game will be saved by their defense.
Cool. Well, all right. Well, let's wrap it up with this, with what's going on in the playoffs right now. Bentley, you got to put $1 million. Who you betting on to win the Super Bowl at this point in the season? $1 million.
Wow, what a great question. Bengals.
Sweet. Same here. Cincinnati Bengals. I still like them. I'm starting to like the Jaguars a lot more. The only thing holding them back is the cold weather.
They got to wear the white tiger, though. The white tiger.
I still am not counting out old man Brady. I don't care how good the 49ers and all those other teams are. You know, you get old man Brady in the playoffs. You never know what could happen, but I like the Cincinnati Bengals myself.
I see the young buck Dak Prescott beating your old man because, you know, the first time they played, they lost 19-3.
I get it.
I just feel like it's a little bit of revenge.
Could be. But, you know, you're betting against TB12, bro. You're betting
but next year TB12 might be an Oakland or a Vegas Raider, or Aaron Rodgers will be a Vegas Raider.
I'm talking about right now. This is playoff football.
Yeah, this is the ending of his days.
I don't know.
He doesn't have a coach that he likes and respects. He doesn't have a team that he's not respecting anymore. He doesn't need to stay in Tampa anymore. His ex-wife's staying in Tampa. He's not.
Yeah.
You know,
and
people.
Guys, on the flip side, Brady has been playing a little better. The rumor is he got a beautiful young, Canadian girlfriend, like 26 years old or something like that. It's like, so maybe he is playing better finally.
Shit, you know, it's one of those. He traded his wife in for 220s.
No, he's on South Beach with Gronk, brother. Who wouldn't feel better if he was on South Beach with Gronk?
Well,
yeah. Yeah, his wife for the gym instructor or something. It's like, dude, this is Tom Brady, bro. This guy could just like walk any place. Dude, imagine him and Gronk just go to any place. Like, come on.
Well, you know, besides like Tom Brady's love life, like making him win football games, I've heard that the Buccaneers are actually getting healthy at the right time. I think he's going to have the majority of his weapons back. That's scary. I'm just telling you, dude. At least in the NFC, and the NFC really, we were talking about the quarterbacks in the NFC. Not many quarterbacks in the NFC scare me. You know what I'm saying? Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm just saying, you get a guy that plays in playoff games like normal humans drink water. Anything can happen. That's all I'm saying. But my biggest
totally understand. But you're okay if you're going to go that way. Look, you know, at the beginning of the season, Jacksonville Jaguars with Sunshine. You know, he wasn't having the best games of his time, and guess what? Turned it around, won multiple games, and these are not bad games that they beat. They beat winners.
No, I know. So, okay, Bama, right now, you got $1 million. Who you taking to win the Super Bowl?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, I think the Bengals are going to beat them. Tony,
nope. Bengals won't get past the Ravens.
$1 million. Who you taking to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah. The Chiefs.
No way.
You got your MVP in the backfield, and then you also got your Super Bowl MVP getting ready to be in the backfield once again, throwing to his all-star, all-pro, Mr. Kelsey. And then also they got this guy named Tony now on there because Juju Schuster is getting double-teamed all the time. And then they got McKinnon. You can't call him a running back. You can't call him a wide receiver. What are you going to call him? A utility player that makes plays.
The main factor in that, I feel like, is when it's Buffalo and Kansas City in the AFC Championship, the game's in Atlanta. And you put those two on a neutral site, and I'll take Mahomes on that one.
Oh, God, I forgot about that. Jesus, I totally freaking forgot about that. But doesn't matter. I think Joe Burrows is the second coming of Joe Montana, and you give him a running game, and the dude just wins. So, and he seems to have – I'm just betting on – Burrows having Mahomes' number at this point.
See, for right now, I think Burrows is like Dan Marino.
You better make sure Burrows gets out of the Knights game first.
I think Herbert is the next Dan Marino, personally. So
nah, because you got to go to a Super Bowl first.
True, good point.
So maybe it's Purdy. Purdy's the new Dan Marino.
See, Dan Marino only went one time, and then he never seen daylight since. That fish went underwater and he didn't come back out to breathe. Clear.
we were talking about this earlier. Let's just say, I'll just leave it at this. If the NFC Championship game is the Niners versus the Buccaneers, I got to go with the experience in that one.
Did you have like something funny to eat last night, Spencer, to get that dream in your head right there? That's going to be the Niners and Buccaneers in the NFC Championship.
I'm telling you. Mark my words.
Give that place a bad Yelp review because this got your mind all screwed up.
Shotgun, man. I already switched your cabeza essay.
We're gonna wrap it up.
We learned last week when Aaron Rodgers went down that old man ain't gonna last in this tournament this year.
But Tom Brady.
It's like what I told you about the Lakers. When you want to retire, you go to LA.
I get it. I'm just, dude. Tom Brady is next level. Until you drag his until you break him, I don't bet.
You have to kill Tom Brady and drink his blood, and it's just like Highlander. You become him.
Yes.
There only could be one.
He's at this point. He's part football man god. So if there's a football man god on the field, don't bet against him. That's all I'm saying. So, all right, dudes. Everybody have a good football Sunday, and we'll do this again soon. We got a bunch of guests coming up. Oh, hey, everybody, just so you know, sportsandtacos.com. It's now a thing. We now have a website. If you're bored, go check it out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And
Man of the Sour, it's good seeing you, buddy.
Indeed.
Yep. All right, guys. Everybody have a good one, and I will chat soon.
Go Baltimore.
Go Broncos this year.
Just cover, baby. Just cover.